Hi there, I'm Kevin Longa, the creator of the new documentary series Taste, where I share the undiscovered true stories of the real people who make our food around the world. I created Taste because I believe that nothing unites us better than food and stories. And what you're about to see is the story of a Jewish baker in Budapest who not only defines herself as a working mother in a male-dominated industry, but also helps to fight anti-Semitism with her Hebrew-inspired cake designs. It's a pretty chaotic and divided world out there, so I hope this story of love and cake can help lift your spirits a bit. Enjoy.
I create cakes as a fashion designer. I drawing the sketches, I sculpture the cream, pastry, and marzipan. They come to life like symphony. Art tells stories. My cake tells stories. I am more than a businesswoman in a male-dominated industry. I am a modern Yiddish mama. I'm a wife, a mother, a Jew. This is my story, layered, delicately balanced, like any cake in my shop. I was about to be a fashion designer, but for me, it came with dresses, with materials, paper, and with a room, and more lonely. And to be a cake designer, I'm always seeing people chatting, to have this kind of rhythm, but in the other hand, living the creative life.
It matches so well when she creates, and this is fantastic. It's funny that there's a lot of Google searches on who is the husband of Rahel Roy, who is that lucky person. I also have very nice shoes, look at that. Get back to work.
Reason I was very sure to get married with him, that this kind of sense of humor, because it makes life much easier.
I'm kind of doing the business part of the cake shops, like financing and marketing and this kind of things, so she can focus on the creative things. Yeah, I'm working hard, but this is my fuel,
So it's so nice. I think I have kind of colorful life with him. My style is like me, a mixture. Very much a modern woman, and very much someone who has something like a roots and a story behind.
She's a modern Yiddish mama.
The modern Yiddish mama is something like a mixture of a modern woman from outside and inside this traditional Jewish, deeply feeling like a mama. So in this time, they don't sit in front of the TV and doing like this. In this time we are playing, and we are playing with letters, we are playing with numbers. Sometimes they cook together, it's so much fun, I love to cook with them.
Yes, don't let the kitchen fool you. Well, Rachel may work out of one, but she's just as business-minded as I am.
I'm a mother, but still, of course, I'm a cake designer. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm teaching a cookery school, I'm doing workshops, working together with fashion designers and just taking cakes for fashion designer shows.
She's a modern Yiddish mama, a superwoman.
I make it work. Orthodox Jews is very strict. For example, in the morning prayer there is the thank you God that I'm a male, because then I can make more rules or things like that.
There are roles for male and females. The males doing their business, they go out and the females stay at home.
And you know, like for me, it's so natural that I go home and I change to be nice at home as well. And I cook for him like dinner and I make him a beautiful like home. But very modern in a way that he lets me, and not just let me, help me, and he loves me as a successful businesswoman. We live a traditional Jewish life, but not orthodoxly.
Her father was a famous rabbi in Hungary.
He was someone who always wanted to change the world in a good way, and people followed him. He taught me to be brave and live my life how I want to, and how can I be strong next to the things I believe in. Father said all the time that all the anti-Semitism and everything is because of the myths of knowledge. He was always about to get people know what is Judaism, to make a conversation between Jews and Christian people. So I really believe in and hope that maybe I can carry on with my daddy's way with that. There is a party which is called Jobbik. They are kind of opened against Jews. Sometimes it's coming out so strongly that they just make hate. Something happened with the Jewish people. It's affected my life, of course, because I'm a Jew as well.
Anti-Semitism has no place, neither in Berlin, nor in Budapest, nor anywhere else in Europe or in the world.
Anti-Semitic incidents have risen in the past few months in Hungary, which has Central Europe's largest Jewish community.
A case in point is the right-wing Jobbik party, which won 17% of the vote in the last election.
Now the third largest party in Hungary and a strong contender to finish second.
Hungary's Conservative Prime Minister had tried to have the Jobbik rally banned, but he was overruled by a Budapest court.
Far-right racist parties are fairly common in Eastern Europe, but Jobbik is different. Stronger, better organized.
Jobbik started a militia, the Magyar Garda, but it was outlawed. Jobbik claims it was a service organization, but it looked like Aerocross, a Nazi-era party that killed thousands of Jews.
To be a cake designer, I'm always working and living with an open eye. Even you live in a life which is perfect, you can say. You can't go next to what happens around you. It's not an easy time now for people, but it always happens that when there are difficulties, people start to find people to hate. It's very scary to see that, for example, the Jobbik party, they have seats more and more in the parliament, which, like you couldn't really imagine before.
They're doing demonstrations, marching, speeches.
It was a little bit scary on first place because you see the black uniform, the boots, and it brings you back memories of what we saw in movies about the rise of the Nazi party. In Europe, you see the rise of the extreme right-wing parties.
This rise in extremism fueled a record turnout for the March for Life in Budapest, the traditional march in memory of the more than 500,000 Hungarian Jews who perished in the Holocaust in World War II.
So I think it's very dangerous because they are there and they just have this stress and they just have these feelings without knowing what they are really talking about. It's a myth of knowledge.
Well, fortunately, we are not feeling on an everyday basis the anti-Semitism, but for example, marketing our Jewish gastronomy activities on the internet or on Facebook, comments what we get, that's that's anti-Semitic sometimes, so we have to delete.
I hear it, I see it, and how I love to live here and how I love Budapest. Even it not happens to me, it happens to my people. So I really, really believe in maybe something in my case, the Jewish gastronomy, the Jewish life. I can make it popular. Maybe people understand that.
And this is a kind of peaceful way of fighting against anti-Semitism.
Flodny is my specialty. It's a Hungarian traditional Jewish cake.
Made of 4 layers: poppy seed, apple, walnut and plum jam.
Nuts, the dough, and the blend of all it together, it really has a different taste than others, and it's the best Flodny in town by far.
Every slide I really like, so just together it's more amazing. It was really good, like always.
Through the Jewish cakes we can show the Jewish culture to the people of Hungary.
It has all the things, like good things, like this apple, nut, poppy seed, plum jam, very rich stuffing. And those things are put together in one piece without being too much. So it's just this beautiful harmony. How are those things together and how we get in the end something very complete. And I think with the Jewish culture it's beautiful. There are a lot of beautiful things and those things are beautiful together and it's a very rich, beautiful culture. Flodny has the soul of the Yiddish mama. On the other hand, I'm a Yiddish mama as well. And Yiddish mamas has this feeling, we want to give everything. We want to just, have everybody very happy all around us. And we do that a lot with food and with the cake, I couldn't put more in one cake than that. And I really believe in that with this Flodny, I can go on with my father's job, to get to know people what is Jewish culture. Of course, it's not a politician, it's not a big, I can't be as brave or how to say it, but it's something. And people can meet more and more with the Jewish culture. So I really believe in and hope that maybe I can carry on with my daddy's way. Of course, I can't change the world, but maybe something.
Yeah, she's very optimistic.
And of course there are tragedies and terrible things, but globally and in a package, you can live optimistically. And after all, I'm a modern Yiddish mama in Budapest. I live for my kids, I live for my husband, and of course I live for my cakes.
I hope you enjoyed my Taste short film. I created Taste because I believe that food and stories can unite us, especially if you're hungry to explore beyond the plate in front of you. And especially during these times, I think it's more important now than ever to understand the outside world, its food, and its people. And that's what I'm doing with Taste. This documentary series shares the undiscovered true stories of the real people who make our food around the world. In the upcoming Taste with Europe season, I feature a quote-unquote crazy snail farmer in Vienna, the self-proclaimed food hooker of Copenhagen, a military chef who whips his country into culinary greatness, of course, a Jewish baker who fights anti-Semitism with her Hebrew-inspired cake designs, and so many more. If you want to get access to this documentary series, then be sure to visit tastewithkevin.com and sign up for the free online premiere. It will only be accessible to the first 2,000 signups, so be sure to sign up soon. Again, that's tastewithkevin.com, and thanks so much for exploring beyond the plate with me.